Helldivers 2 seems like a great co-op game. I had a ton of fun blasting giant bugs and mechanical soldiers for a few hours in Arrowhead Game Studios' upcoming shooter, calling down airstrikes and screeching with laughter after accidental friendly fire transformed good intentions into hilarious deaths. Much of Helldivers 2 builds on the formula of its 2015 predecessor. You play as ordinary soldiers who ODST-drop down onto procedurally generated planets, fighting to defend the dystopian democracy that is Super Earth. Friendly fire is always on. Between that, the satirical Starship Troopers-esque tone the game is going for, and the dangerous alien threats you face, you'll die plenty of times, redeploying on the battlefield as a new soldier ready to give their life for the cause. Prior to each mission, you determine your loadout, including what special armaments and heavy artillery you may want to call in when things get bad, like airstrikes, deployable turrets, and rocket launchers. When the mission is finished, you call in a dropship and defend the landing site until your ride shows up. The big shift between Helldivers 2 and the first game is the perspective. While the original Helldivers was a top-down shooter, its sequel is an over-the-shoulder third-person shooter, with the option to go first-person while aiming down sights. This puts a heavier emphasis on action and ludicrous destruction, aspects the first game certainly had, but which were tempered by the ability to easily see where all your allies and enemies were standing at a given time. This shift in perspective forces you to make judgment calls without being able to see behind you. Everything is just more frantic and intense when your perspective is restricted by over the shoulder, and it makes missions increasingly nail-biting as a result. Improvisation has always been a part of Helldivers' DNA, but Helldivers 2 ups the ante by giving players more dangerous and explosive options, while simultaneously decreasing how much information each player can take in at any given moment. It's glorious fun, and I had a genuine blast for the couple of hours I had to play it. Helldivers 2 feels like playing as a character in something like Alien or Starship Troopers, and not the badass hero characters who survive impossible odds and save the day. You're the background nobodies getting blown to bits. Each match feels pretty quick too. Our quickest mission wrapped up in about 20 minutes, while our longest took closer to 35. That's a dangerous window of time for someone like me. I've lost hours of my life to games like Apex Legends and Knockout City, where the short match length makes it so damn easy to just say, okay, one more game. I think the coolest aspect of Helldivers 2, though, could ultimately be the Game Master, the omnipresent force in the game that controls the armies invading Super Earth space. As you and your squad complete missions, you'll impact the war effort on the planets you're fighting on, determining whether Super Earth successfully defends its territory. As the game continues post-launch, these efforts will have tangible effects on the makeup of the galaxy, changing where alien armies focus their intentions and adjusting what strategies they deploy during missions. These adjustments are handled by Helldivers 2's Game Master, similarly to how a Game Master oversees the campaign of a tabletop game. Only instead of handling a group of 4 to 6 friends at a table, the Game Master here is responding to an entire community of players. Like its predecessor, Helldivers 2 won't feature any moments of PvP. Sure, you can accidentally, or not so accidentally, shoot an ally thanks to friendly fire, but the entire experience is PvE. This sense of camaraderie translates into the minute-to-minute gameplay too. A player carrying rockets can load them into an ally's launcher, for example, saving said ally considerable time on the normally lengthy process of reloading. I really like mechanics like this. They add a greater semblance of teamwork to a mission beyond the scope of everyone all shoot the same enemy a bunch. It also adds value to players who want to take on a more supportive role in the game, giving utility to folks who want to benefit the team but maybe don't excel with some of the game's harder-hitting weapons. I hope Helldivers 2 builds on mechanics like this and adds additional options for players who want to play a more supportive role. Helldivers 2 sounds like it could be a pretty fun game to play, and my time with it has me excited to try the full release. It's way too soon to tell what sort of staying power Helldivers 2 will have, or whether the community will support it as passionately as the one that rallied around the original game. Our industry is stuffed to the gills with popular live service shooters already, so carving out a space is a tricky prospect. But Helldivers 2 seems to be the experience that I wanted Anthem to be. I've been looking for a game to fill that void since BioWare decided to give up on it. Maybe, just maybe, Helldivers 2 could be it. We'll find out soon enough. Helldivers 2 is scheduled to launch for PS5 and PC on February 8th. To stay on top of Helldivers 2 and the many, many shooters coming to PC and consoles in 2024, be sure to subscribe to GameSpot.